In the annals of spiritual exploration, few figures have left as indelible a mark as Edgar Cayce, the enigmatic seer known for his profound insights into the interconnectedness of body, mind, and spirit. His revelations, steeped in both historical context and spiritual acuity, offer a unique perspective on the relationship between food and spiritual evolution. Cayce's readings, a vast compendium of channeled wisdom, unveil a mysterious truth. Certain foods carry energies that not only impact the physical body, but also resonate deeply within the spiritual essence. Cayce's narrative weaves a tapestry of intrigue, suggesting that the act of eating is not merely a biological necessity, but a spiritual endeavor. He posits that the vibrations of certain foods can either elevate or hinder one's spiritual growth. This contemplative lens invites us to consider the deeper significance of our daily choices, transcending the mere act of consumption to a sacred ritual that shapes our spiritual destiny. The historical backdrop of Cayce's insights adds a layer of richness to his claims. Ancient cultures, from the mystical traditions of the East to the shamanic practices of indigenous tribes, have long held that food possesses spiritual properties. Cayce's readings echo these ancient beliefs, bridging the gap between historical wisdom and modern spiritual inquiry. His authority, grounded in documented spiritual and historical contexts, provides a compelling foundation for his revelations. As we delve deeper into Cayce's insights, we are drawn into a world where the mundane act of eating becomes a spiritual journey. The next chapter will explore the specific foods Cayce identified as spiritual poisons, particularly red meat, refined sugars, and processed foods. We will examine how these items create ethereal toxins in the aura, diminishing an individual's vibrational frequency and impeding their spiritual evolution. In this contemplative journey, we are invited to reflect on how our food choices might be impacting our spiritual practices. Are we nourishing not just our bodies but our souls? Are we inadvertently poisoning our spiritual essence with the foods we consume? As we ponder these questions, we are encouraged to consider new perspectives and embrace a deeper understanding of our spiritual journey. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of food and spirit, and contemplate the profound impact of our daily choices on our spiritual evolution. In the quietude of his spiritual readings, Edgar Cayce, the enigmatic sleeping prophet, unveiled a profound connection between the corporeal and the ethereal, identifying certain foods that, unbeknownst to many, act as spiritual poisons. These were not merely substances harmful to the physical body, but elements that contaminated the soul, weighing it down with dense vibrations that impeded spiritual growth. Chief among these were red meat, refined sugars, and processed foods, staples in many modern diets. Yet, according to Cayce, silent saboteurs of spiritual evolution. Red meat, long a symbol of power and sustenance, was revealed to carry more than just physical nourishment. Cayce's readings warned of the dense, earthbound energies it held, energies that, when consumed, created ethereal toxins within the aura. These toxins, heavy and sluggish, diminished the vibrational frequency of the soul, making it difficult for individuals to elevate their consciousness and connect with higher realms. This perspective echoes ancient beliefs, where food was seen not just as sustenance but as a carrier of spirit, with different foods bearing different energies. Refined sugars, stripped of their natural vitality, were likewise exposed as spiritual impediments. Once a rare luxury, these sugars had become ubiquitous, their empty sweetness masking a sinister effect. Cayce's readings indicated that these denatured substances introduced chaotic vibrations into the aura, disrupting the harmonious flow of spiritual energy and leaving the soul disoriented and disconnected. Processed foods, the epitome of modern convenience, were unmasked as the most insidious of spiritual poisons. Devoid of life force, they introduced stagnant, deadened energies into the aura, dulling the spirit and anchoring it to the mundane. Ancient wisdom had long advised against such unnatural concoctions, recognizing that food in its purest form carried the highest spiritual vibrations. Cayce quotes warnings painted a sobering picture, one that invites deep reflection. Could the foods we consume daily, without a second thought, be the very obstacles to our spiritual growth? As we navigate our modern world, filled with convenience and indulgence, let us pause and consider the ancient wisdom echoed by Cayce. Let us contemplate the vibrational frequency of our souls and the role our dietary choices play in shaping our spiritual journey. For in every bite we may be influencing not just our physical health, but the eternal well-being of our souls. In the tapestry of spiritual evolution, as envisioned by Edgar Cayce, the concept of vibrational frequency emerges as a vital thread that interweaves the physical and the ethereal. This frequency, a subtle energy that pulsates through every being, is not merely an abstract idea, but a tangible force that dictates one's spiritual trajectory. Cayce, in his profound and numerous readings, illuminated the significance of maintaining a high vibrational state, a condition that facilitates communion with higher realms and accelerates spiritual growth. Conversely, a low vibrational state, induced by the consumption of certain foods, casts a heavy shadow over the spiritual journey. Imagine, if you will, the soul as a luminescent entity, its light flickering in rhythm with its vibrational frequency. Each time an individual partakes of the spiritual toxins Cayce identified, the dense energies of red meat, the hollow sweetness of refined sugars, or the synthetic vitality of processed foods, it is akin to shrouding this light in a thick, opaque veil. The soul's radiance dims, its vibrations slow, and its spiritual ascension is impeded. In this state of lowered vibration, one may experience a profound sense of heaviness, as if the body and soul are mired in an invisible morass. The mind, too, is not immune to these dense energies. Mental fog descends, obscuring clarity and hindering one's ability to discern the voice of intuition from the cacophony of mundane thoughts. This inner turmoil, this spiritual lethargy, is the price paid for the consumption of foods that feed the physical body yet starve the soul. Cayce, with his unique gift, peered into the astral plane and witnessed the struggle of souls enmeshed in these low vibrations. He saw how they grappled with their spiritual practice, their meditations disrupted by the discordant energies of their consumption. He observed the disturbing dreams that plagued their nights, reflections of their inner tumult, and the lower entities drawn to their dense energies. It is here, in this contemplative space, that one is invited to pause and reflect. Consider the energy states that your dietary choices might be cultivating. Ask yourself, are your food choices nourishing your soul as much as your body? Are they elevating your vibrational frequency, or are they anchoring you to the dense energies of the material world? Remember, every morsel consumed is a choice, a step forward or backward on the spiritual path. Reflect and choose wisely. Allow Cayce's revelations to guide you, to inspire you to seek the foods that truly nourish, that illuminate your soul's journey. In the quietude of self-reflection, one begins to perceive the subtle yet profound effects of consumption on the psyche. Edgar Cayce, in his mystical revelations, did not merely highlight the physical ramifications of ingesting certain foods, but delved into the psychological and spiritual turmoil they inflict. The narrative of the human experience is intricately woven with the choices made at the table, and the repercussions echo through the chambers of the mind and the spirit. Consuming the foods identified by Cayce as harmful, red meat, refined sugar, and processed items, initiates a cascade of psychological disturbances that are as insidious as they are impactful. The dense vibrations these substances carry seep into the etheric body, manifesting as restless nights plagued by troubled dreams. These are not merely fleeting nightmares, but vivid, unsettling experiences that leave one feeling drained and disoriented upon waking. The subconscious mind, burdened by these low vibrational energies, struggles to find peace, reflecting the inner turmoil in the form of chaotic dreamscapes. Emotional unrest becomes a constant companion for those who regularly partake in these spiritually toxic foods. The heaviness they introduce into the aura translates into a pervasive sense of unease and irritability. The mind, once a sanctuary of clarity, becomes clouded, making it arduous to navigate the complexities of daily life. Meditation practices, meant to be a respite from worldly chaos, are disrupted by an inability to focus and connect with higher realms. The spiritual path, once illuminated by insight and intuition, grows dim and obscured. Historical accounts and anecdotal evidence offer glimpses into the intricate dance between diet and mental health. Ancient spiritual texts and the writings of mystics often emphasize the purity of consumption as a prerequisite for spiritual elevation. In more contemporary settings, individuals who have altered their diets in alignment with Cayce's teachings report a renewed sense of mental clarity and emotional balance. Their stories are testaments to the transformative power of conscious consumption, where the simple act of choosing what to eat becomes a spiritual practice in itself. Readers are invited to pause and reflect on their personal journeys with food. Consider the moments of spiritual clarity and the times of emotional turmoil. Draw connections between what is consumed and the state of one's spiritual well-being. In this contemplative space, one may find the inspiration to make choices that not only nourish the body, but also elevate the soul. As the narrative unfolds, the next chapter beckons with an exploration of the unseen forces that influence the spiritual path. The implications of Cayce's warnings about attracting low-vibrational entities through dietary choices will be unveiled, deepening the understanding of the profound interplay between physical consumption and spiritual susceptibility. In the quietude of his spiritual explorations, Edgar Cayce unveiled a profound and unsettling truth. The path to spiritual enlightenment is not merely obstructed by mental and emotional hurdles, but also by the seemingly innocuous act of consuming certain foods. His warnings echoed through the halls of spiritual inquiry, cautioning that the regular consumption of red meat, refined sugar and processed foods not only harms the physical body, but also taints the soul, attracting low-vibrational entities that can derail one's spiritual journey. To comprehend the gravity of Cayce's admonitions, it is essential to delve into the historical and spiritual beliefs that underpin his views. Throughout the ages, various cultures have held that food possesses an energy that extends beyond its nutritional value. Ancient Hindu texts, such as the Upanishads, discuss the concept of prana, the life force that permeates all living things, including the food we consume. Similarly, traditional Chinese medicine teaches that food carries qi, or vital energy, which can either nourish or hinder the body's equilibrium. Cayce's teachings align with these ancient beliefs, positing that the consumption of certain foods can introduce dense, stagnant energies into the spiritual anatomy, rendering the soul susceptible to lower vibrational influences. In the shadowy realms of the unseen, these low-vibrational entities are drawn to the dense energies that cling to the aura, like spiritual toxins. As Cayce revealed, these entities can exacerbate emotional unrest, disturb meditation practices, and even infiltrate dreams, leaving the individual feeling spiritually heavy and disconnected from the higher planes. This spiritual susceptibility is a haunting reminder that the choices made in the physical realm can have reverberating effects on the spiritual path. The implications of Cayce's warnings extend far beyond the confines of personal spirituality. They beckon a deeper contemplation of the interconnectedness of all things, from the food consumed to the unseen forces that shape the spiritual journey. As one ponders the wider implications of these dietary choices, consider the subtle, intricate dance between the physical and the ethereal. Each morsel of food, each sip of drink, becomes a communion with the divine, an opportunity to elevate the soul's vibration or to anchor it in the mire of dense energies. Thus, Cayce's revelations serve as a call to action, a summons to consider the spiritual ramifications of the foods that nourish the body. In the quiet moments of reflection, ponder the unseen forces that influence the spiritual path, and allow the wisdom of Cayce's teachings to guide you toward choices that nourish not only the body, but also the soul. For in the dance of life, every step, every bite, is a choice that echoes through the realms of the unseen, shaping the spiritual destiny in ways both mysterious and profound. In the contemplative silence of self-reflection, one might ponder the remedies prescribed by Edgar Cayce for the spiritual toxins ingested through detrimental foods. Cayce, in his profound and mystical revelations, offered methods of spiritual detoxification to overcome the negative impacts of consuming hazardous foods, a process that echoes the purification rituals of ancient cultures. Cayce recommended spiritual cleansing as a means to restore vibrational harmony. He advised the practice of hydrotherapy, where the physical cleansing of the body with water corresponds to the spiritual cleansing of the soul. This practice, reminiscent of baptismal rites in various religions, symbolizes the washing away of impurities and the rebirth of the spirit. Additionally, Cayce suggested the use of castor oil packs, which, beyond their physical benefits, were believed to draw out negative energies from the body, aligning with ancient practices of anointing and purification. In the realm of energetic healing, Cayce proposed the use of vibrational therapies such as the violet ray, a color therapy that resonates with the higher frequencies of the spirit. This method mirrors the ancient Egyptian and Tibetan practices of chromotherapy, where colors were used to balance the energies of the body and soul. Furthermore, Cayce encouraged the practice of prayer and meditation, universal methods of spiritual elevation that transcend cultural boundaries. These practices, when combined with healthier food choices, could transform the dense vibrations of the soul into lighter, more harmonious frequencies. Historically, various cultures have employed purification rituals that resonate with Cayce's teachings. The Native American sweat lodge ceremonies, the Islamic practice of miswak, and the Hindu ritual of Panchagavya all embody physical and spiritual cleansing, aiming to purify the body and elevate the soul. By embracing these practices and consciously choosing foods that nourish rather than hinder spiritual growth, one can begin to reverse the effects of spiritual poisoning. As the individual embarks on this journey of spiritual detoxification, the transformation is profound. The aura begins to shift, the vibrational frequency elevates, and the connection to higher realms strengthens. Dreams become more lucid and less disturbing, meditation deepens, and the attraction to low vibration entities diminishes. The path to spiritual elevation is illuminated, and the soul begins to resonate with the divine harmony of the universe. Consider, then, the ancient wisdom and the revelations of Edgar Cayce. Reflect on the foods that nourish not just the body, but also the soul. Invite new perspectives and embrace the transformative potential of spiritual detoxification. For in the contemplative journey of purification, one steps closer to the divine, one meal at a time. In the contemplative silence that often follows a meal, one might begin to perceive the subtle yet profound effects of the food consumed. Edgar Cayce, the enigmatic seer, revealed that the act of eating is not merely a physical necessity, but a spiritual encounter. The path to spiritual elevation, he taught, can be deeply enhanced by a practice now commonly referred to as mindful eating. This approach, steeped in ancient wisdom and historical spiritual practices, invites one to cultivate an awareness that transcends the physical, touching the very essence of the soul. Cayce's teachings illuminate the concept that food, when consumed consciously, can elevate one's vibrational frequency, fostering a stronger connection to the divine. In stark contrast to the dense energies of red meat, refined sugars and processed foods, mindful eating invites a sacred communion with the nourishment that sustains life. Historical practices from various spiritual traditions echo this sentiment, emphasizing the sacredness of food and the transformative potential of each meal. To cultivate mindfulness during meals, one might begin by pausing to acknowledge the journey of the food from its source to the table. This moment of reflection aligns with the ancient practice of saying grace, a tradition found in many cultures and faiths. By expressing gratitude, one attunes to the higher vibrations of appreciation and respect, creating a spiritual receptivity that enhances the meal's nourishing potential. Further, engaging the senses fully can deepen this mindful approach. Observing the colors, textures, and aromas of the food, one can appreciate the divine creativity expressed in each ingredient. Chewing slowly and deliberately, savoring each bite, allows the body to absorb not just the physical nutrients but also the spiritual energies contained within. This practice, reminiscent of the Zen tradition of mindful eating, fosters a profound connection with the present moment, where the divine is ever present. Moreover, the act of preparing food can itself be a spiritual practice. From the careful selection of ingredients to the intentional preparation, each step can be infused with love and awareness. This mindful approach to cooking has been honored in various spiritual traditions, from the Ayurvedic principles of ancient India to the culinary rituals of Japanese tea ceremonies. In the contemplative space, created by mindful eating, one may find that the meal becomes a sacred ritual, a time to nourish not just the body but the soul. As Cayce's teachings reveal, This conscious approach to food can lift the veil of spiritual heaviness, allowing for a deeper connection to the divine. It invites reflection on the profound potential for spiritual nourishment in every meal, a concept that flows naturally into the communal aspects of food and spirituality. Thus, one is invited to consider their eating habits, not just as a means to physical sustenance but as a pathway to spiritual elevation. In the quiet moments of a mindful meal, one may discover a new perspective, a deeper connection, and a profound sense of spiritual nourishment. Reflect on this, and let the act of eating become a sacred journey, a step towards a higher vibrational existence. In the quietude of a shared meal, one finds a microcosm of collective spirituality, a truth that echoes through the annals of history. From the communal feasts of ancient tribes to the ritualistic breaking of bread in monasteries, the act of sharing food has long been a sacred practice, capable of elevating or hindering spiritual vibrational levels. Edgar Cayce, in his profound revelations, illuminated the dual nature of this communal act, revealing that the choices made in these moments could either nourish the soul or burden it with dense energies. In the heart of the Essene community, a sect contemporary to the early Christians, meals were more than mere sustenance. They were spiritual communions, where each ingredient was selected and prepared with mindful intention. Their diet, primarily of fresh fruits, vegetables, and grains, was not merely a physical choice but a spiritual one, designed to foster harmony and connection with the divine. The absence of red meat, refined sugars, and processed foods, the very spiritual poisons Cayce warned against, allowed their souls to remain light and receptive to higher influences. Contrast this with the opulent banquets of the late Roman Empire, where indulgence and excess were the norm. The heavy consumption of meats, sweet delicacies, and other densely vibrating foods led to a collective spiritual lethargy, according to Cayce's readings. The inability to connect with higher realms, the increased occurrence of disturbing dreams, and the attraction of lower entities were all symptoms of this spiritual malaise. Now, consider the humble gatherings in your own community. The shared meals, the potlucks, the communal gardens, each presents an opportunity to elevate the collective spiritual health. Yet, the choice is a delicate one. The inclusion of spiritual poisons could hinder the very connections and harmony sought. Conversely, mindful selections could foster an environment where spiritual growth thrives. Pause and reflect on your community's culinary practices. What vibrations are you collectively inviting into your shared spaces? How might a shift in these choices enhance your collective spiritual well-being? Remember, each meal is an offering, a chance to nourish not just the body, but the soul. In this contemplative space, consider the transformative power of your collective choices. For in the dance of shared meals and spirituality, every ingredient, every intention, and every bite matters. In the sprawling landscape of collective consciousness, individual choices echo far beyond the boundaries of personal existence. Edgar Cayce, the enigmatic seer, unveiled a profound connection between dietary habits and the spiritual vibrancy of not just the individual, but the collective whole. As we delve deeper into the societal implications of food choices, we uncover a tapestry where each thread of personal decision weaves into the greater fabric of shared spiritual consciousness. Cayce's insights reveal that the widespread consumption of spiritual poisons such as red meat, refined sugars, and processed foods contributes to a collective low vibrational state. These choices, made in the quiet of one's kitchen or the bustle of a communal feast, ripple outward, shaping the energetic landscape of society. Imagine a world where the majority indulge in these dense, spiritually inhibiting foods. The cumulative effect is a societal aura heavy with stagnant energies, a collective consciousness mired in lethargy and disconnection from higher realms. In such an environment, meditation becomes a struggle, not just for the individual, but for the collective. Dreams, rather than being vessels of spiritual guidance, morph into disturbing echoes of lower vibrational planes. The societal body, much like the physical body, becomes a magnet for entities of similar density, perpetuating a cycle of spiritual stagnation. Yet, within this contemplative landscape, a beacon of hope flickers. If each individual choice carries such weight, then the power of conscious decisions becomes a transformative force. What if, instead of reaching for spiritual poisons, more people opted for foods that nourish not just the body, but the soul? The shift in collective energy could be monumental. Consider the responsibility that lies in each meal, each bite. It is a call to action, a silent yet powerful vote for the spiritual health of the collective. Cayce's revelations invite us to ponder, how might our dietary choices elevate not just our personal spiritual journey, but the collective consciousness of humanity? In the quietude of our kitchens, we hold the power to shift the energetic balance, to lighten the load of the societal soul. As we reflect on the broader implications of our food choices, we are stirred to consider our role in the spiritual evolution of humanity. Each conscious decision, each mindful meal, is a step towards a collective awakening, a journey from density to light. The question lingers, resonating with a sense of purpose and possibility. What if the path to collective spiritual enlightenment begins not in grand gestures, but in the humble choices we make, one meal at a time? In the tapestry of life, as intricately woven by the mystic Edgar Cayce, the choices that nourish the physical body are intrinsically linked to the evolution of the soul. As explored, certain sustenances, namely red meat, refined sugars and processed foods, act not merely as detriments to physical health, but as spiritual impediments, shrouding the aura in dense vibrations that hinder one's ascension. These revelations underscore a vital interplay between food spirituality and personal evolution, a dance of energies that either elevates or anchors the spirit. Cayce's readings illuminate the path to spiritual enlightenment, revealing that the ingestion of these spiritual poisons creates etheric toxins, diminishing the soul's vibrational frequency and impeding connection to higher realms. Regular consumption of such foods leaves individuals spiritually heavy, their meditative paths obstructed, dreams perturbed, and auras darkened, drawing entities of lower vibrations. This insight beckons a profound contemplation. Could the collective consumption of these spiritual poisons be contributing to a shared low vibrational state, impacting not just individual souls but the collective consciousness? In concluding this journey, it is essential to acknowledge the transformative power that resides within mindful choices. Each meal is not merely sustenance but an opportunity for spiritual growth. As Cayce revealed, the path to enlightenment is paved with conscious decisions that resonate with one's spiritual aspirations. By opting for nourishment that elevates rather than densifies the soul, one can cultivate a higher vibrational frequency, fostering a deeper connection to divine realms and illuminating the path to personal evolution. Thus, viewers are invited to embark on a journey of self-discovery, exploring the profound effects of dietary habits on their spiritual trajectory. Let curiosity be the compass, guiding the exploration of how food choices echo through the spiritual path. For in every bite, there lies a choice to nourish not just the body but the soul, aligning with the divine and transforming the journey towards enlightenment. Reflect on this wisdom, and let it inspire a new perspective on the interplay between sustenance and spirituality, fostering a deeper connection to the divine within and without.